Hi everyone. I wanted to get on here to talk about something that's been going on with me and with people like me. Um, let me let me introduce myself. My name is Maria. I also go by Maggie. I am a DACA recipient. We're also called Dreamers. For those who don't know what DACA is, it is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It protects undocumented immigrants that came here as children from deportation, allows us to work, allows us to get a driver's license and a social security card. There's a lot of videos out there for you guys to watch if you guys want to know more about it. But I really want to get down to my story and what's been going on with me personally. And honestly, it's a constant thing recently with us Dreamers. I belong to a group on Facebook that us Dreamers frequent, and we talk, and we share our experiences, and it's been a reoccurring thing. I'm not the only one who's going through it. Well, I filed back in November for a renewal. This is like, I think, my second or third time renewing. I never had an issue with anything before. It never really took that long. It took like maybe at most 2 months, and I always got my work permit before my recent work permit expired. This time around, it's been a little harder for some reason. I filed back in November 2020. My work permit expired February 2021. I've been out of work for almost 3 months, like in a week it's going to be 3 months. I took some time off in February, thinking that maybe I was going to get my work permit within that time frame. I didn't. After that time passed, I called the USCIS office to ask them, what was going on. I haven't worked in almost a month. They told me I was still within the processing time, which my processing time was 3 to 5 months. So I decided to call after my process, like after 3 months. And they told me the same thing. So I reached out to my U.S. representative, which here in Arizona and in my district is Ruben Gallego. And they expedited my case. And on March 29th, I got my work permit. But after all that waiting, there was an error on my work permit. They misspelled my last name wrong by 1 letter. You can imagine my frustration at this point, So the same day I received it March 29th on a Monday. I called them I called the USCIS office the same day, asked them what I needed to do to get it fixed, and they told me to send it to an address in Lee's Summit, Missouri, called the National Benefit Center, and to send a letter describing what the error was, the work permit with the error on it, and documentation, proving what my name was. So I did all that. I think the only mistake that I made is that I didn't make a copy of it, only because I was such in a rush to send it back. So I overnighted it. It didn't arrive overnight. It arrived the next day, which was March 31st. It was a Wednesday. I tracked my package. It said it was delivered and everything. Thursday, April 1st, I got a call from the Ruben Gallego office. It was a lady, her name is Celeste, I believe, that's been working on my case. And she asked me if I had received my work permit, because she had seeing that I received it March 29th, and I explained to her what had happened and that they misspelled my name wrong, and she's like, okay, let me see what I can do. And I was like, okay. So I let a few days pass, which I think it was April 5th, Monday, April 5th. I received a letter from the USCIS telling me that I needed to return my work permit with the error on it, with a copy of the letter they had sent me, and send it to a address in Nebraska. By this time, I had already sent it to Lee Summit, Missouri, and I even called twice to make sure that I was sending it to the right place and that I was sending the right documents. So I was incredibly frustrated. I was like, okay, well, it's already out. So they made me an appointment with a immigration officer or official or whatever, and that he was gonna call me within 15 days. And I was like, oh great, more waiting. But thankfully he called me the next day around 8 a.m. But that conversation did not go very well. I had explained to him what had happened and where I sent my package with all my information and the work permit, and he told me that they have no record of them receiving any package. And I was like, well, I tracked it and it was delivered, so it must be somewhere, right? And he's like, well, what I advise you to do is you can call the following week and see if they have it, if they've received it, or you can refile and pay the fee again, which I can't afford. I'm living off savings that I have. I don't have any income right now. At this point, I was already 2 months not working. My job gave me like a 60-day extension to get my work permit, but at this point I probably don't have a job anymore because it's almost, if not already reached the time limit. So needless to say, I was extremely upset, and I just started going off, I told him that I filed months ago and that I've been waiting for months to get my work permit. I have not been working. I'm a single mom of an 18-month-old daughter. No one, at this point, I'm the only income for my daughter. I was also not receiving child support, thinking that the father of my baby was not giving me child support. Turns out they just weren't sending me my child support. So at this point, I didn't have my child support, which could have helped. And that's another mistake that they made, not mine, So I went off, and he was very cold and not very nice about it. He kept telling me he understood, and I'm like, how could you understand? Can you just direct me to someone that can help me, that can find my package so I can get this fixed? And he's like, oh, there's nobody else. And I kept telling him, you know what? I feel really helpless at this point. I was venting to him. I was not trying to disrespect him. And he said, well, now you're yelling and complaining, so I'm going to terminate the call. He repeated that a few times before he hung up, and he hung up on me. And after I hung up, I felt so defeated. I felt so sad and angry because I did everything right. I'd never done anything different. I'm paying for some mistake that they made, and twice, one on my work permit and two, telling me to send it to an address in Lee Summit, Missouri, and I just started bawling. I cried so loud. I cried all day that day. I left messages to Celeste, the lady from the Ruben Gallego office, crying, asking for help. And I also called this organization called Aliento AZ, which both of them got back at me within a couple days. And Celeste told me that she was gonna try to do something for me, and I still haven't heard back, so I'll probably call her today, see if I need to refile, because if anything, I need to refile as soon as possible, because I'm gonna have to wait another 3 to 5 months, and that makes it to the point where I haven't worked most of the year, you know what I mean? And the organization also reached out to me, but they told me that I did a good job by reaching out to my representative. And she calmed me down. She told me what was going on. She told me that the Trump administration really didn't train anybody, or fired a bunch of people and didn't train the new people to do what the other people knew how to do. So I think the Trump administration really tried to mess it up for all of us, and it really is. It really is. It really is messing it up. And up to now, I still don't have my work permit. I'm still waiting. If I was to get my work permit, I do have a friend who's works for an organization, and her brother takes care of this department where they help DACA recipients with their fees. And I haven't heard back yet, but I will be reaching out to them again and seeing how that is going, and see if they can help me. If not, I'm gonna have to look elsewhere. You know, I've heard similar stories to mine, where people have waited 9 months to get their work permit. I've heard a woman talk about how she did it 2 years ago, and then they sent her a work permit that was already expired, and she had to go through a lawyer to get a new one. Imagine waiting 2 years and not working for those 2 years to get an expired permit, and then having to do the process again and waiting even longer. That is ridiculous. I don't know what's going on over there. It's never been this messed up. I think the only thing that's really keeping me going right now is my daughter. I look at her and I'm strong because of her. Yeah, I break down sometimes, but I feel like she just keeps me going. Like, I hold her and I tell her, like, everything's gonna be alright. I'm gonna figure something out. I think most of the time I'm talking to myself, because she doesn't understand what's going on, and I'm a bit thankful for it. I'm thankful that she doesn't know what's going on, so she doesn't have to stress out about it. Being a single mom is hard, but it's also sometimes what makes you strong. Being a parent makes you extremely strong. You do everything for your kid, you know. And I have parents who also depend on me, who I also help out. And a lot of us are afraid to speak out because we're protecting ourselves and our families. But when are we not going to be, when is enough? And when enough is enough? When is enough? Like, when is the time to speak out and come out of the shadows? Because I feel at this point we're last in line again, you know. If you guys read the Dream and Promise Act that they've passed in the House, and how we're going to be on conditional terms or whatever, they're going to make us wait 10 more years to apply for citizenship. And even though I'm grateful for every opportunity that this country has given me, I think for right now, I feel like they've been extremely unfair to us dreamers and a lot of immigrants. I don't get it. You know, something that we can't control, something that we didn't really choose to do. This is the only home we know. And for those who are going to say, yeah, go back to your country, go back to the country you were born in. Well, we don't know that country. This is all we know, you know? And even though we're proud of being Mexican American, or from the Caribbean, or Asian, or South American, all we know is here. And we're American, just like anybody else who was born here. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, nah, sorry, like, we contribute. We have been here. I've personally been here since I was 3. I don't know anything else. All right, I worked my ass off my whole life trying to be a better person, and the fact that you're holding us like hostage by doing stuff like this. It's evil. It's cold-hearted. Like, you don't care about us. That's how I feel right now, because a lot of us are going through the same thing. Not being able to work and not being able to drive because our work permit and our driver's license is connected, you know? I can't legally drive, you know? So I'm scared to do anything right now because of what's going on. So I need to know what I need to do to fix this, because I'm a doer, and I this is why I'm making this video, because I want people out there to know that you're not alone. My fellow dreamers, you're not alone. A lot of us are going through the same thing, and yeah, it's unfair, and you should be angry, and you should be upset. Of course you should. Don't let anybody tell you that you shouldn't be, that you should not, that you're overreacting. No. It's happening to a lot of us. We're waiting and waiting and waiting. No. This is our livelihood you're messing with. Okay? We provide for our families just like anybody else. And you're taking that away from us. The only thing that we've ever wanted, honestly. Like, a lot of us are educated, okay? Most of us are educated, if not all of us, okay? We all graduated high school or have some sort of degree, diploma or GED or degree. A lot of people are like serving our country, you know, and a lot of us are doctors and nurses, are on the front lines of this pandemic, and you guys are treating us like we don't matter. So tell me, what do we do to fix it? Because we're not making the mistakes, you are. So how do we fix this? Just tell me. Tell me, and we'll do it. I'll do it. Because I've done everything right at this point. And it's getting a little ridiculous. And I'm getting really upset. Every day, I don't know what's going to happen, you know. I've made all these calls. I've reached out to USCIS office tons of times, which seems like 1,000 times, you know. And they're never helpful. They're always, a lot of them are, I'm sure, good people. But like what? But a lot of them don't understand our situation or don't care. And I'm sure they're getting 1,000,000 calls, 1,000 calls each day about the same thing. So tell us how to fix it. Tell us how to fix it. Okay? This DACA program, it can't last forever. You need to give us a solution too. Okay? Give us a way, a path to citizenship. We deserve it, okay? We deserve it. Please fix this, okay? Okay, for my fellow dreamers, I'm way better at giving advice than taking advice. So all I want to tell you guys is keep your head up high. Keep your head up and stay strong. Just know that there's people like me that want to help you guys and encourage you guys. Just tell your stories. Okay, I want to hear your stories. So if you want to share with me, share with each other, please do. Please do. It makes us feel less alone, you know, because sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it doesn't feel like people get us, but there's a lot of us, and we can make a change now. We can speak out. So please share your story. I want to hear it. So I hope I didn't ramble too much. This is going to be an unedited video. I wanted to just talk a little bit about what's going on with me and a lot of us. So thank you for listening, and I love you guys. I love you guys a lot. Okay? Bye-bye.